Hi guys, it's Angela. How are you? I am at the end of not feeling very well this week, and I'm so much better today. But Stephanie and I had just chatted. We didn't really do a very good job of sharing with you guys to remind you to be on Mindset Roundtable this week, and we took last week off, and so we just wanted to jump on here and do a dual live and let you know the plans going forward more clearly. Maybe we told you guys already, but we're just going to let you know as well here again. And she's going to join me here in a second. Something that I did want to talk about this week, but so we'll finish it. We'll do this next week probably, is talking about self-love. So I would love to know in the meantime, until we decide to move to next week, until we decide to discuss it as a group of us, right? I wanted to see if you guys would drop below what your definition of self-love is and how you feel about the word self-love, or the words, they're two words. So anyway, we have been doing this Mindset Roundtable for over a year now. We love it, and we feel like no matter what changes in life happen, we are going to continue it, and I'm sending an invite to join us. And I want to make sure that we keep going with this. We both do. We both feel very strongly about it, and seasons change, times change, life changes, and that doesn't mean that we're going to. Hi
Hi,
there.
friend. Hi.
So we have for a long time, I was just telling everybody that I
Yeah.
haven't been feeling well for the last week or so, but also that what we wanted to talk about was self-love. And I asked everybody to drop below what their definition of self-love is, because I think that that is such an important topic. And I said, we'll talk about it next week, right? So we will be resuming our normally scheduled program, and no matter what happens in life, no matter what happens, as long as you and I are still alive in this human body, right? Like, I want to continue doing this
Yeah.
for as long as we can. And we love doing this. It's such a such a personal passion for both of us to
Mhm.
connect with people, and I love that we have this space together. So what were you wanting to share today?
No, it was so good. And yeah, and so those of you who don't know that we do this is the thing. There might be some of you that follow us and don't even know that we do. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'll do the same. Let me.
I'm all good now.
Okay. There might be some of you that follow us and don't even know that we do a mindset roundtable because we've always kind of just kept it to the to the side. But you know what? We've been doing this for over a year now, and we connected with like-minded thoughts. And every time we do this, we just kind of feed off each other's energy, and it's really created a really beautiful space that has allowed other people to kind of come in and share in their story and their journey and their progress. And so the other day we were talking and we're like, we call ourselves, Mindset Roundtable. We do it every Friday at 12 noon Eastern. And we used to do it through a Zoom link. And then one day we're saying, well, let's see if the domain is available. And it turns out that mindsetroundtable.com was available. I'm like, how beautiful is that? See, this is the way the universe works. If it's meant to be, it'll just fall into place. And so we've now connected that to our Zoom. And so that'll be our new link. And I love that. It's even in our group. If you're not in our group, that's where we've done all our replays, and I can drop that link in the comments. But it's a really, I actually was talking about this the other day. I actually did a live yesterday on my wall, and I said, it's a beautiful, safe space to come and just share. And it's a time just for you. It's reserved. It's a time that you can spend for yourself to help develop yourself and your mindset, your goals, your passion, your drive, whatever that might be. And we said there's three things we don't talk about. We don't talk about religion, we don't talk about politics, and we don't talk about a specific company. This is a place where we come and talk about you and me together in this universe and the energy and what your value is, and that you are worth all of it and you're capable of beautiful things. And that's kind of what has evolved in the last year. And I always say, I always look forward to Fridays because even for myself to come and get centered. I just feel grounded when we connect. And sometimes Angela and I won't talk all week. And the second we get on this call, it's like time hasn't passed.
Yeah.
And our followers, I hope, they feel the same thing as well. And we've had a really great following. And I know we've changed that link, but that's the only thing that's changed. And
Mhm.
so we wanted to just let you guys all know that it's open to the masses. And no matter where you are or what journey you're on or where you are in the world, this is a place that is welcome to all of you. And we hope that you'll be joining us because we're excited about, I can't believe it's been a year, like
Over a year. Yeah, it's
over a
crazy.
year, right? And
Yeah, and I
so,
like that you said you used the word progress earlier about, so I want to always remind people that just because Stephanie and I host this doesn't mean that we are enlightened and wonderful. Like we don't see
oh,
ourselves as like these gurus or perfect people or anything, right? We're all evolving all the time. And the point of what we do here is to help people in your mindset, right? And you guys can ask us questions in the comments or in, I think there's even a thread that you created a long time ago that was like, if people have questions they want us to talk about on a mindset roundtable, we would love that. But it's all about our personal progress. It's not comparing, it's not talking about how far I am versus how far you are or whatever, right? So it's all
yeah,
about the fact that we have been doing personal work with our mindset for so long. I mean, me personally, I've been doing this journey basically for like 20 years, right? So I started out learning about the law of attraction and the secret and all that. And it's just evolved over time because of what I felt so pulled to learn more about, right? Whatever it is that we're excited about or we're passionate about in life, we're going to be out there researching and learning, and what we have learned we get to share here with you. And it's not necessarily specific things, it's about our little details that we've learned, things, hacks and tricks and tips that we've learned to switch our mindset or pivot or move our cheese. You guys know I love to talk about that, but it's all about knowing that every day we're making personal progress. And so every single day living up to whatever potential we decide we're going to live to and not having any regrets. And knowing that each time that a day comes, and at the end of the day, if you can reflect and think about things that happened that were bad, right? I don't see anything as bad, but that you can look back and see, where was my win there with my mindset? Where did I make an effort every day to create a win within yourself and your mindset and the way you see things and the way that you're pivoting your mindset? Even if you have an outburst and you're frustrated, did you catch yourself and go, okay, wait, this is not healthy. This is not necessary. What's the purpose of this, right? And so the purpose is for you to learn from and get better. And it's all about the progress that we all make. And so we've just been on the journey longer than some people, and we just like to share about it because we're so passionate, right?
yeah. And I actually saw something this morning. I went and got my hair colored. That's why I'm all like this right now. And as I was waiting for my color, I opened up Instagram and I saw a post. Jamie Lee Curtis was being interviewed, and she goes, the question was, do you have any regrets? And, have you made mistakes that you regret? And she's like, oh, that's like a loaded question, right? But then she's like, there is no such thing as mistakes. There is no such thing as true regrets, because the journey, we're not human if we're perfect. We're meant to make mistakes, and mistakes have this negative energy attached to it, when really it's there to teach us. It's there to give us a lesson. It's there to show us how we can be better. And she's like, she's been sober for 25 years. She's like, yes, I've made mistakes. Yes, I have flaws. Yes, I've done things that I wish could change, but it's made me who I am today. And it's taught me things that I needed to learn about myself. And the journey is about that involvement in our life. And it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down. It's okay to pivot and not know where you're going sometimes. It's okay, because it's part of the journey. And I think we're so fixated on, I have to be perfect, and I don't want to make mistakes, and I have to look a certain way, and I have to be a certain way, and I have to do this because I'm being told. No, you don't. You do you. And if it doesn't feel aligned with you, that's what people need to. We're so disconnected, I find, today, day and age. I mean, we're so distracted, right? There's so much going on. Media, cell phones, internet, all the things, social media. If you just stop the noise for a second and realign yourself and take on the mistakes or the choices or the decisions you've made and be okay with that and learn from it and move forward, you'll be fine. If you're always lining up with who you are and don't apologize for who you are, but you're leading with kindness and love always, you'll find your way. And I thought that was really cool. And she's like, it's okay to make mistakes. We're meant to make mistakes. We're here to learn, you guys. We're here to learn. That is the whole purpose of our journey on life.
Yeah. I was, when you said earlier, this made me think I saw a post recently where it was like a red door and a blue door, and it was like $1,000,000 or everything in your life that you regret, you can go back and change. And most people said the money, right? Because really, when you come down to it, if you changed what you've gone through and what you've been through, where would you be now? You wouldn't even be the same person. There are so many different crossroads that you've come to in your life that you took one way versus another, and it completely changes the whole trajectory of your life, right? And so don't have any of those regrets, and don't have what was the other thing I was going to say? The other thing you just said, and we should just probably go. Otherwise, we're going to do like a full
Well,
hour-long
maybe
mindset
we
roundtable.
should. I don't know.
But when you said the words, I find that I stay away from politics and news and a lot of social media stuff. If it's not good, I remove it or I'll unfollow it. Even people on my Facebook who I maybe have known for a long time, I don't unfriend people usually, but I'll unfollow them, right? When you were talking about the energy of like social media and politics, and I felt, pay attention to your body. Just like when we eat certain foods, pay attention to your body. Your body responds to things. And when you were saying that little bit, I kind of felt like I was holding my normal breathing. And then when you said the ending piece, I kind of released it. And I was like, oh yeah. And think about when we're going, so when you have that feeling, you're going up and down and up and down and up and down. It's messing with your whole energy, right? It affects your energy every time you get yourself into a paralyzing fear of whatever's happening in the world, whatever's happening around you. You can only affect yourself and the people directly connected to you. And so the goal is to have a higher energy and a higher vibration in life in general, so that you can affect like a ripple effect of people, right? So you want to connect that energy in a positive way, because we're the only ones who can make ourselves feel differently, right?
Yes. And I think that's really important what you're saying too. And Janet wrote the exact same thing as we're talking about, that it interrupted her and it threw her off. And she had to focus on her breath, right? And just take a deep breath. And I think sometimes we forget that you're in control of every situation more than you realize it. And like, there's some things even in the news yesterday that came up, something that happened in the States, and I saw it come up because I'm Canadian. I'm in Canada. I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and my beautiful friend Angela's in Florida. And I saw this come up on a feed, and I saw somebody talking about something horrible that happened. And it took my breath away, and I went, and I could feel my body just, like I felt the sadness and the pain. And I go, no, I'm not doing that. And I swiped, because I can't change. I have no control over what's happened, but I have control of what I allow in my heart. And I know it's just going to break my heart. So why? If I can't do anything. So I swiped and I moved on. But it literally affected my breath in that moment. And so being aware of your body. So I've been really pushing the limits with myself lately. And yesterday I started to feel my body getting sick. And I said that to my friend. I said, I feel like I'm getting sick. And she's like, oh no. So I was in bed at like 8:30 last night, which is, I'm a night hawk. That never happens. And I was in bed and I had a good solid sleep, and I feel better today. But if I would have pushed myself, I'd probably feel worse today. So you've got to always be listening to the way your body responds, because it is always aware.
Yeah.
It's this that gets in the way. It's this that confuses us.
Feeding into it. So when you were talking about all that just now, I thought of almost like if you had an angry monster in the closet and you just kept feeding it. You're like, it's thriving, it's staying alive, you're hydrating it, you're feeding it food, you're giving it nourishment. Do we want to nourish the fear and the anxiety in life, or do we want to release that and not, because otherwise we're part of the issue. We're part of the problem with those things, right? So we're only creating more and more and more fear. And the thing is that with things like what happened on the news recently, and it's real life, I'm not denying that it's there or that
I'm
it happens.
I'm not denying that. No.
But it's part of a lot of the issues in the world. And my opinion is that we have been programmed all of our lives by TV, by media, by all that, right? By our surroundings, that we have learned how to feed into the fear and the negativity. And there should be a class in school where kids meditate and learn how to help become just one with the universe and the people around them, and how we affect energy and all that. Like, they should teach that kind of stuff. Like, I think that would be amazing. Oh.
How do we do that? How do we get
Like,
into
there
those
probably
schools?
is one. There probably is one, and it's like a private school or something, right? But
Oh,
like,
it's private school probably because the parents actually have a lot more say in what happens and they have to get approval. And but I know in the public system there probably most definitely there isn't. I
well,
know
and
my
if you
kids would be talking about it.
Well, if you think about it, it's like fire drills when we were little. Now, are they
Yeah.
necessary? I get it. But they're drills now that we didn't have when we were kids because of the things that have happened in the world. And if you think about it, now our children are in these public schools being programmed for,
Hmm.
when you're going through the motions, you know how you have like a muscle memory in your mind and you do the physical activities that are taking you to whatever things that could potentially happen. And again, I'm not saying we don't need to prep for things. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm not that far into the, advancement of mindset stuff to where I can say that for sure. But like, it feels almost like that's a struggle for me, because what we're doing is we're enacting our future is. We're always right. We're creating our own
Hmm.
realities all the time. And so when we're
Always.
doing so many things, like I talk about the whole moving my cheese, or when I have a mindset issue that I switch my mindset and I figure out how to catch it earlier than most people because I've been doing it for so long, right? I'm
Right.
not perfect, but I'll have a knee-jerk reaction. And then I create the new version.
Hmm.
I choose very actively and consciously to
Hmm.
choose that. But
Hmm.
I mean, you can't do that with everybody. Like, not
No.
everybody's going to understand or want to even do it. A lot of people, we want to feed into being victims and victim mentality and all that. And
Yeah.
it just, I don't know.
Well,
I don't even know.
and going back to what you're saying, we teach our kids to get, fire drills and lockdowns and, emergency situations. Where do you go? What do you do? Okay, but I think we need to go a step further because, okay, what if that actually happens and you're going through the drills and it's real life? Do you also teach the kids to stay calm, to breathe, to lean into each other, to stay focused, right?
And
Like,
not at the
what do
time
you do?
of, you're saying prior, is that part of the training, right? You're not,
Like,
because
is
I'm
that
saying the
part of the
time being,
training?
yeah.
Because if there is an emergency and the kids, they know where to go and what the lineup is, but do they know how to contain that fear in that moment? Do they know to stay together and to stay calm and to stay you grounded and just to listen to their peers and just like, because you can teach and teach and teach and teach, but when it actually happens, what are you doing? Like, I was on an airplane once and there was an emergency and one of the flight attendants could not find the defibrillator and she was running up and down like with her head cut off. She was like, oh my God, she was freaking out. The flight attendant was freaking out because she couldn't find it. They have been trained on how to do this, but it was a real life situation. There was a gentleman having a heart attack on the plane and we were at the back of the plane and they said they need to go get that and she couldn't find it. And it was atrocious, but she was having a full-blown panic attack, but she wasn't fully prepared when it actually happened, so another flight attendant had to go get it. And I'm like, that's a perfect example of, you can train and train and train, but until you're in the weeds and you're actually living it, you don't really know. Do they train you on that? Because that's the thing, parents, our kids, here you go, you have a baby, there's your baby, bye, have a good day, see you later, take care. There's no instruction manual. There's nothing that comes with that, right? You have to be trained. You have to learn as you go, and you don't really know until you're in it.
Yeah.
And do we train in these really pivotal, scary moments? It's impressive that you can see somebody who's so well organized and poised and put them in a trauma or a situation that is completely out of control and they lose their mind, right? Because it's a different kind of mindset. And I think that's what the world needs. Our children needs that. To be able to really tune into your soul and to tune into your moments at that time, that's a life skill. In my personal opinion, that is a life skill, because once you hit 30 plus, you've experienced some form of an emergency in some point of your life in different forms. How do you handle that situation?
Well,
That's
yeah,
what's going to determine.
it's like what I talk about all the time in here, that intuition is your instruction manual for your life, right? What if we taught that to children in schools, right? I mean, here's the thing, is that we can only affect the people around us, right? So that's why when we talk about we cannot change the way the world is, but we can change. Starts with our household. And when you teach your children to know that you can listen to your intuition, you can learn how to move your cheese, you can learn how to pivot in things like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's like a muscle memory. So again, it's a
Mhm.
muscle memory. And so I'm gonna, like, one thing that I learned years ago, so for an example with pain, physical pain, we have the ability to control our body, the way that we react with pain, with our mind. And so when I was a young woman, before I had a child, before I got pregnant myself, I was a partner for my friend who was a single mom in her hypnobirthing classes. And so I went to hypnobirthing classes with one of my best friends, and I learned the process of hypnobirthing. So it was that you would feel the pain, you know it's happening, but how does your body respond? How do you respond? How does your, so it taught, basically, I would be the person that would go like this when I would see her hands clench up. And if you guys think about that, find, just like we were talking about that disease of dis-ease in our body earlier, about when she said that stuff that made me go, I felt a little anxious just for a second. I recognized it and I released it. And so years later, when I had my son, well, only a couple years later, when I had my son, I went through the whole same thing. I went through the same classes, but I already knew it. I just hadn't been the one learning it from my birth, right? And so same thing with my birth and with her birth, we were able to learn that when you clench down and you tighten, you're resisting the natural flow of your body, what your intuition knows to do, your body knows to do. So we learned that the person, that your partner was the signal. It was like the energy signal for me to go like this, and she would be tight like this, and I would go like this, and she would just release. And you would just calm. And we both had that experience. It was so amazing. And I know that because I've been through those experiences, that now my husband's always said, you have such a pain. You have a high pain tolerance. And I know it stems from, well, I grew up with meditation. I grew up with yoga and guided visualizations and stuff. So I've always kind of been in tune with that kind of stuff. But I know because of those experiences, I've been able to respond to pain better than, maybe the average person sometimes. But you don't have to say it's not there. So that's a good example, leading back to what we were talking about before. It's not saying it's not there. We're not saying it's not terrible in some places of the world, or what's going on in the world, or politics, or whatever. I'm not saying it's not there. It's being aware, and how do you respond? So it leads, that leads back perfectly to what we were talking about, is our bodies, our minds, it's all the same. We can choose to learn how to respond, and you can respond in a better way than what most people probably do. Go ahead, sorry.
It's a good point. And like, just going on the comments, I wrote this down. It's like Michael Jordan always said, I spend just as much time in the mindset gym as I do in the actual gym.
Yes.
It is literally just as important as the physical practice. He goes, if your mindset is not on, it doesn't matter how gifted or how skilled you are. It is all mindset. We just watched the Olympics. It's all mindset. There'll be people cheering in the crowd, and they have trained themselves to not even listen to the noise. Like, it's such mindset training. And when you're talking about like that clenching, that's a fight or flight. Our bodies automatically go to fight or flight, and your whole body will tense. But if you release it, it just happens so beautifully. It's like, ever get a cut somewhere and you just so happen to look down and there's like dry blood going down your leg, and you're like, what? You don't even know you got a cut. You're bleeding and you're not even aware of it. And because you never felt it, you never saw it, you never experienced it, and you never felt it until you look down. And then all of a sudden now you can start to feel it because you're aware of it. And that's, again, the power of the mind. Now, I'm the opposite of you. You just bump into me and I'm like, I am such a highly sensitive person. It is insane. I bruise like that, and I stub my toe down for an hour. Like, I am the worst. I don't even know how I got through birth. Well, yes, I do, epidural. But I am the worst for pain. I am the opposite. I feel so much of people and energy and physical pain. It's almost, I know I need to meditate. I've been told this so many times because I need to learn to control that. But you might be like me. Are you someone who's highly sensitive? You stub your toe and you think you lost your toe, right? Where then there's Angela, who can actually take on quite a bit of pain. I would be the worst. I'm the worst for pain because I can't manage it. But again, that's another thing that I need to learn, because it could be so imperative to your life. I've learned to control my heart and my soul, and I'm still learning.
Absolutely.
But the pain, the physical pain, I feel like it's getting worse. Like my son, we were joking around and he kind of just did like a light like tap on my arm. I'm like, ow. He's like, calm down. I'm like, no, it actually hurt. But I'm that sensitive. But it's all mindset, and just goes to show you we're always learning, and you have to be able to adjust and listen to your body. Your body's always going to tell you what's up. Always. Like those people that go in those ice buckets, they go in the ice water and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
sit there for 10 minutes.
It's a
Me?
mindset thing too. Like I could probably do
You
that,
probably
right?
could.
But I don't choose to. So here's the
Yes.
difference between me and that kind of
I
thing.
don't want to do that.
Maybe I'm making excuses, but I already know and can imagine what that feels like. Therefore, I don't need to have a reminder. But then if you go, well, but it's good for your body, right? Well, so, okay, so I watched this actually, speaking of ice bucket things, this is what I wanted to talk about next week, but we're kind of talking about some stuff here too, but self-love. And this guy gets in a bucket. Maybe you guys have seen this reel. He gets in one of those ice bath things, right? And he says, discipline is important, right? Why? Does anybody know why discipline is important? You can imagine, but the reason is self-love, because it's the strongest form of self-love. And the reason is because if you're able to ignore the now, the pain and all that, right? The ice bath,
Yes.
you get the long-term results that you want to, right? So it's committed to your future self. So when you're committed to your future self and you follow through with the discipline of the things that you know you need and want to do, working out, mindset training, listening to positive things, releasing the energy of negative things if and when it comes your way, and focusing on the positive, right? So when you commit to yourself to have that self-love, your end results are what you want, right? But when you don't commit and you don't do the discipline, the ice bath or the working out or, mindset training stuff, like you will end up the same place you are now in 5 years, 10 years, right? Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that
Yeah.
was really good.
And I saw this really beautiful picture. The only reason I haven't showed it is because there's a typo in the words on the graphic, and I'm like, I can't share it.
Well, that
It's not the
drives me
right word.
crazy. I can't share anything
No,
like that either.
they wrote comfort. It's your comfort zone. The first bubble is comfort zone, but they wrote CON, like a confront, and I'm like, ah. Anyways, but this is your comfort zone, right? And then there's fear. And then there's growth, right? There was 4 stages. It was like comfort zone, fear, there was another one, and then growth. If you stay in your comfort zone, you never get to grow. Your bubble will always stay, so because it's safe, right? But the minute you push yourself a little bit out, people get scared. And people use fear as a paralyzing tool. It literally is one of the worst things we can have, because it'll physically paralyze you if you are living in fear. You don't move forward. You don't move past it. You don't try new things because you're so afraid. But if you move past that and you go through in fear, and you go and you lean into trust and lead into faith and lead into your beliefs, and you go a little bit further out, you'll start to grow and you develop a whole new side of you didn't even know existed. And now when you look back 6 months from now, you're like, why would I be so afraid? I'm good now. And that's the whole point, is your comfort zone. You have to lean into fear, because it'll only push you to the next level. And that's where we grow. If you want to grow and evolve and change and eliminate negativity in your life and live in abundance and commit to your future self, you need to lean in, scared, no matter what that is. And I'm not talking about scared about like go jump off a bridge with bungee cords because you're fearful. No, I'm talking about trying something new, or moving houses, or changing schools, or getting a new puppy, or starting a family. Whatever it is that's scaring you, you're going to be okay. And lean into that, and then push yourself, and you will be amazed at what you're capable of. I just got goosebumps,
I want
because
to send me that picture. I want to see that,
yeah, we
the
got to
whole comfort
change
zone
that
here.
N to an M. But I will, and I'm going to share it because it was this beautiful bubble that evolved. and then another bubble, and it's like a wave, right? It looked like
Mhm.
a beautiful wave through sand, actually. And then it showed the growth. And with every wave, it got lighter and lighter and lighter, because that's the light in you. You're not meant to stay in this little container. You're not meant to. You're meant to expand, because there's a future version of you that you haven't met yet. And it is beautiful and glorious, and it's waiting for you. So just go a little bit further, lean into it, and you will find your tribe as you expand. Your vibe attracts your tribe, but you're never going to find it in your tiny little comfort zone. You're just going to stay exactly where you are forever. And that's not where you want to be, because life is going to continue to happen around you, and your life is waiting for you, but you got to catch up. You just got to do it in
I
stages.
love
And then one day,
I
right?
love the whole visual of being in a dark space, like you talked about, because when a lot of meditations,
Mm,
including Joe Dispenza and other things I've listened to, one of the first things they do, and I do this channeling meditation before I do readings, and I just love it. And I lay down, and one of the first things she has you do is see an entire white light around your whole body. So an energetic white light that just surrounds you, and it just like pours out of you, right? And so that is so good what you were just talking about, because that's exactly what in my mind I'm like, now I've always just done the things they say to do, but now I'm like, oh, that's why. Because a lot of times we start out in this dark little negative energy because we've been absorbing the energy from the world and the people around us, right? Years ago, I'm going to share this real quick story. I know we weren't getting, here we are, we're doing Mindset Roundtable, whether we like it or not. It's just not on a Zoom.
it's
Maybe we just need
happening.
to do it. Maybe we just need to do lives from now on. I don't
I
know.
don't
Maybe.
know. Tell us what you
So
want, guys. Tell us what your opinion. We want to hear from
yeah,
you.
yeah, interact, and then your comments stay forever. So
Yeah.
years ago, I went to, in fact, it was 12 years ago, I went to Belize and I did a spiritual healing retreat.
Mhm.
And we did this thing called spiritual bathing. And we would go around, we would gather this clean water, we would have a clean bucket of water, and we would gather herbs and plants from the garden of this woman, this shaman woman that like ran this whole thing. We were up on the top of this beautiful like jungle place in Belize, and we would go around and collect it all, and then we would let it bake, or I don't know what the word would be, but we would let it absorb into the, with the sun. We collected all the things with intention with each piece that we picked, and we put it in the bucket. And then she had us do this thing where we would look up in the sky and we would see these flecks. I saw like black flecks all over in the sky. And when you're really in tune and you're really focused on doing this kind of thing, you will experience this stuff, right? You're like, holy crap, there's a little. And she was talking about how that's our energy field. Whatever we're seeing is our energy field. And so the goal is to turn your energy field into more pure, positive, right? Because we're absorbing other people's energy, and the flex are like, it's so if I'm just saying, even if you never have this experience physically like I did, you can imagine that this is what happens when you absorb other things, the negative stuff about politics, what you saw on Facebook, what someone said to you. You're absorbing and you're allowing all of these things to affect your energy field, because we all know we have an energy field. It's scientifically proven. It's about 6 feet apart, which is, I think, why they decided they wanted us all 6 feet apart back in the day.
Yeah.
But at the end, what we would do is, once it sat and absorbed the energy from the sun into our plants that we had put out into our bucket with intention, our personal intention, very individualized, right? Is we would go outside after a couple hours by ourselves in our own little space. We took the bucket of water and we like, it was like an elephant bath, right? Like as if an elephant was giving itself a bath, right? And we would all go out there. It was our own experience, our own journey. It was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. I didn't continue it. I should have, but now I
Oh,
kind of just say it out loud. I'll tell my energy field to be clear and, clean and all that. But we would do all that, right? And from me having some of these people in here, well, you guys all know I'm crazy, like woo-woo-y like this, but some of the people were having everyone was having different experiences. Mine was, I saw these black flecks around me in a whole, like I could see them everywhere, right? When we first did the
like
little,
ashes, like imagining ashes almost
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah, you
Yeah.
could see it like that. It was almost like there were little black ashes all flecked around my whole entire like bubble, basically, right? And after I did the spiritual cleansing and the meditation and all the things that she told us to do, and I did the water, um, all of I could see were gold flecks. Like they were all almost like dancing around me, like beautiful gold flecks. And no, I wasn't doing like what's that stuff? I wasn't doing. It wasn't like we were
You
ayahuasca.
weren't
We weren't doing.
having brownies.
No, no. I've never been into any kind of drugs of any kind of
No,
care
but
to alter my brain, but it was a
so
beautiful
beautiful.
experience. And it was a very, even if you just imagine it, close your eyes and imagine what your energy field
Yeah.
looks like, and then imagine cleansing it that way, you know? So I feel like I've been able to kind of recreate that in my mind
Yeah.
over the years, where when I feel like my energy's down or I feel like I'm being affected by negative
Yes.
people or things,
Yes.
I'm in control of that,
100%.
you know? So
And it's okay. And I remember, I've been through this many times, right? We all have. But once that's in there, and if you can feel it, there's going to be days where you almost can't handle it, and that's okay. And you need to retreat yourself somehow, turn off the noise, go spend some self-care on you, reset your system so tomorrow's a brand new day and you have a clear vision of what that day is going to be, and you're not going to allow that energy to come in. And I always say this, you guys, you're fully in control of who's in your personal living room, in your virtual living room, in your social media living room, in your soul's living room. You have control of who you invite in and who can stay and who has to go. And that's in all aspects of life. And it's so, so important. And yes, for whatever, how many fingers are pointing at you, there's 10 pointing back, or 9 pointing back, because it's not usually about you, it's about them.
yeah.
And it's hard for us to distinguish that, because it can be really hurtful. Negative people are insecure usually, yeah, because it comes from their life experience, and you're just a target. But it's hard sometimes to deflect that, right? Like my
Well,
son's
can you be grateful for it? That's what I want to
and
stop and
that's
say
it.
too, is
Why is
can
that
we
happening?
figure out how to be grateful for it?
And be like, okay, this is happening. It's not about me. That's about them, but there's a lesson here for me because it's happening, right? It's happening for me. So why is this happening
Yes.
for me? It's teaching me something. And it could be that person is not meant for me, or we're just on a different line, or they just don't understand, or they're going through their own times, or maybe this is an opportunity for me to learn that this is going to happen and I need to learn to manage this because I'm evolving, right? Don't ever underestimate that. You could be evolving and growing, and you're going to outgrow people. You're going to outgrow eras in your life, right? We outgrow, best friends in high school. We outgrow places that we work. We outgrow things, and it's okay. People are meant to come in seasons, reasons, or lifetimes. And maybe that season is over, right? You're all speaking to me today. I love that, Janet. And this is why we do what we do, because as we just have these conversations, there's a reason why some of you are watching here. There's a message for all of us. And already just me being here with Angela, I feel better. I'm already sitting better. I feel lighter already. My energy is better just by having these conversations, because you're not alone. And there's a journey here that's meant for you. And Angela, when you're talking about that, I wrote down the word plants. And a lot of people say, oh, I can't have a plant because I kill my plants. Well, not necessarily. It's just they also say that you should talk to your plants. You should hold your plants. You should touch your plants. And sometimes you need to move them in different parts of your house, because they live off of energy and vibrations and the sunshine and the air. It's all connected, you guys. Spend a little time and energy and love on a plant, and you'll see the difference it will make, because it's a living, energetic thing. And it's a real thing. There's actually studies out there that there were people that did 2 jars, and they put stuff, I don't know, either seeds or plants or something in it. And 1 jar, they gave it love all day for like 2 weeks. Love, 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 love. The other jar, full hatred, negativity, saying horrible things to it. And in 2 weeks, you can literally see the difference. One was moldy and gross and just looked like nasty stuff. The other one had completely evolved and had grown and it had sprouted. I'm telling you, everything is an energy force. Everything.
So, okay, think about this. You know how we've been taught all our lives that having plants in your house is good because it filters the air, right? They filter and they clean the air for you
I have so
naturally.
many.
That's what they
It's
do out
ridiculous.
in our ecosystem. That's why they're needed, right? So in your house, when they're in there, think about what you just talked about. This was really big, and I'm trying to think of how to word it, but
I
like
just had a light bulb go off when you
not
just said
even
that.
not even what if, But now I'm realizing plants filter energy because everything is energy, including the air, including us, right? So when we bring our toxic negativity into our home and the plant can filter, like that's basically what they're doing is they're filtering the
And
energy. And so when
they're
you are saying
absorbing.
yucky things to the plant, it's because that's you projecting yourself on the plant, but the plant is trying really hard to filter that for you because that's
And
what
it's
its job is.
absorbing that energy. You just gave me a light bulb moment. Um, like about not even that long ago, 3-4 weeks ago, there was a lot of stuff going on with me, and the energy in me wasn't aligned. I was stuck and I was frustrated, and I had this white film on all of my plants. Like my plants had and I know it could be dust, it could be whatever, but this white film on every single one of my plants. It was so bad that I had to go scrape it all off and clean them all. And then I watered them and I kind of touched them and I moved stuff around. But it kept happening over and over and over. Anyways, and then I made a big decision. I made a big change in my life. And I just realized that my plants have no more white stuff on it. There's no more white film on any of my plants. And it's been almost 4 weeks.
And so if
You
you think
need me
about it,
like, because my
if you think
energy.
about it, it's like the filter that you have to change in your home for your HVAC system, right? When you have an HVAC system, every month or so you have to remove the filter. I have a giant
Yes.
one, and then you put a new one in. And so that's the same thing you're doing with your plants is you're loving on them and
Guys.
removing that, helping them get back to their normal original space, which is that ability to filter more for
And
us, right? So
was
it's
affecting our house, right? If one person in your home is energetically unaligned and frustrated, and it vibrates through the whole house. And I'm having like a light bulb moment, you guys. My plants are exploding. They're greener than they've ever been. I had to move a plant because it's growing so much that it's actually blocking the TV. So I had to move her. I'm like, all of a sudden she's having all these growth spurts. I have a plant that finally has a new leaf. It's been months, maybe a year since she's had a new leaf. She got a new whole stem because the energy in our house as a collective foursome has completely changed. Because we also went on vacation together. We realigned ourselves as a family. I made a decision for myself that I needed to. My son has kind of created a new direction in what he wants to do. The energy in our house has completely changed, you guys. And my plants are responding. I'm just having a big aha moment right now.
well, and
But
it's such an
again,
individual experience for everybody. So, just like if you go to a doctor, my favorite kind of doctor is a functional medicine doctor because they see you as an individual. And like, that's kind of almost also, I mean, I know we're not talking about business, but that's how I train my people that I work with in
yeah,
business, right? Is
yeah,
I work with them individually. So I've been having like coaching calls and stuff this week and last week, or not this week because I've been sick, but the last couple of weeks with this certain team of people, right? And I literally talk to every one of them, but I do it differently with every one of them. Not just the
100%.
same questions even, right? It's not the
Yeah.
same thing. Some of them I'm doing like
Mm-hmm.
readings for, and I'm doing my PACE therapy work with them, and I'm helping them individually because I feel like that person was called to me for that thing, right? So when we address people that we're working with or that we have in our lives, including our children, our family
Mm-hmm.
members, they all need to be treated differently because we all have such individual energies about ourselves that we need
Mm-hmm.
from that communication and that connection and work with people individually. And
Yep.
it needs to be not just a blanket statement of whatever, like this is what you do. Just like if you are training someone, it doesn't always work the same way for the same people, for everybody
Mm-hmm.
involved, right? So
Yeah.
your children are different, your people that you work with are different. So treating people as individuals, I mean, just like those beautiful plants, they're all individual too,
Mm.
right? And they all have their things. But
Well,
one last thing, and I think
yeah,
we should probably go because it is
yeah.
almost noon, is if this is okay, I just wanted to tell you guys, do you guys remember Mr. Rogers when we were little? So, right, everybody feels that way when they think about Mr. Rogers.
I love
I
Mr.
watched,
Rogers.
you what?
I love Mr. Rogers. Who
So
can't?
so he accepted a lifetime achievement award, and I heard this morning from him, and I thought it was so beautiful. He got up on stage and talked about very, very little having to do with him, but he just said, because it was basically about how he's affected millions of people, right, and how he has helped the lives of so many children across the world and all this stuff over all the years that he was doing what he did. And he said he told everybody, I want you to take 10 seconds right now to think about all the people in your life who have affected you in a positive way and helped you become the person that you are today. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I'll count. I'll keep track of the time. And it was 10 seconds, complete silence. The whole auditorium was completely absorbed into the moment, and you could see it on their faces, and they were all thinking what he said to do, because we listened to Mr. Rogers, right? But they were all thinking of the people. He said, I want you to take 10 seconds and think about the people in your life who have affected you. So I just thought that was beautiful, because he literally had the whole silence, 10 seconds. And so everybody should do that every single day. Because what we always focus on, we want to focus on the negative. We want to end our day and think about how Susie wronged me, and how that one guy ran me off the road, and how that receptionist at the doctor's office was kind of a bee. Or we want to calculate our days at the end of the day about all the wrongs that were done to us and all the negatives that were put to us, right? And so what if we all ended our day and or just randomly remembered throughout different days, 10 seconds worth of seeing all those people, even if it's the same 10 people or the same 5 people, or that one person, you just hold them in your mind for 10 seconds every day. And you think about how the people in your life have all been put there for a reason. And even if we have 20 people over here screaming our name in negativity or putting us under a negative spotlight, if we can take the focus off those 10 people or 20 people or whatever, and even focus on the one person in our lives, even if it's me and Stephanie, maybe it's just me and Stephanie, every time you guys want to take that and release it, see it almost like a ball of yucky energy, just push it aside and hold the thought of the people and see them in your mind. If they're alive still, if they've gone to the other sides, or if wherever they are, there are people in your life who have helped you, and maybe they don't follow the narrative that we think that they were supposed to follow. Oh, it wasn't my mom, she was a bitch. Oh, my dad wasn't around, right? We all are given people in our lives. It doesn't matter if it was a teacher or a coworker or someone that made you feel like you were worthy and you were deserving and you were loved. Do not let the negativity of the people who you see as, oh, they harmed me or wronged me. Don't let the people that hold that space in your life even hold that space, but don't let them consume the space that the person or the people who helped you and who created the good you should be allowed to have. You're literally like, think of it like this. Think of it like you're getting married tomorrow and you have 20 seats. It's a small wedding and you have 20 seats for the people who have treated you right, loved on you no matter what, inspired you, motivated you, and helped you become the person that you are today. Are you going to fill it with your mom and your dad just because they're your mom and your dad? Or if they were a-holes and they didn't do a good job, here's another extra hint. They are not a-holes and they didn't come to ruin your life. They came to make your life better, and that is a blessing. So it's about gratitude in the contrast, gratitude with the negative, gratitude with the people that you see as that they did something to you, right? But they have helped you create who you are today. So allow the seats to be taken by whoever you want to be taken by. Maybe the people who you see wronged you because their family, they still deserve to be there and they help you become who you are. Or maybe you allow it to just be filled with those people who have made you feel amazing. But the cool thing is, there's no mathematical equation to it. It's our choice. We get to choose who we have in those seats of our life every single day.
Every day.
So anyway, that was my thoughts, and I wanted to share that. And I love you guys all. And I think, should we just start doing lives here instead, or are we going to go back to Mindset Roundtable next week?
You guys, here's the thing. If you've liked anything that we share, this is basically a really good glimpse of the stuff that we share for every Friday, 12 noon Eastern. We do have a private group that we could also just go live in our group and just leave that open for as many people that want to come and be a part of this. But it's a place, this is what we're talking about, you guys. This is just a little glimpse into what we talk about. So Mindset Roundtable, just search us on Facebook. There's actually a group too.
We're in the group.
We're on your wall.
It says private group.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, well, are we? Because I couldn't find you in the private group. I just went to your face and I clicked on you because you said you were live.
No, we're in the private group. God,
Well, then
we should have done this on.
So maybe we'll figure it out. But maybe this is the best way to do it because you guys can always see the replays and it's all okay. We're in the group. Okay, good.
Yeah.
See, I don't even know what's going on. I just go find Angela. But here's the thing. This is the group and it's here and it's live every Friday at 12 noon, but this is a really good space to come in. It's open to everybody. Maybe we can even make the group public now and we can just do this instead of going in Zooms because we will have special Zoom calls. We're going to have special guests. We always do. Every once in a while we have a special guest and that's maybe what we'll save our Zoom rooms for is those special guests.
And our website, we might be adding things to that as we go too. You just never know.
You never know.
We keep our website name, we own it. So, but I think that going live in here when it's just the two of us, I think that's a great idea because I feel like more people will be able to access it and see it and feel like they get to be part of it with us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. Let us know. Are you liking this? Is this easier for you? And then people can just hop on whenever they want. They can just hit play when they're driving or doing laundry or sitting at their desk. And that's kind of what we've been doing this whole time, right? So, and we love you guys. And just sharing what Angela is saying. It's like, Angela, you're one of those people for me. You're the one of those people that I would reserve a spot for my 20 people because just our connection has just changed me in so many ways. We were meant to meet each other. The way it happened, the way it fell into our laps, it was time for us to connect. We were always meant to connect. And I think of Angela as one of those people for me. And I'm sure I've told you that before, Angela, but if I haven't, I want you to know that you will always be one of my people. And life's going to change and things are going to happen. And this connection that we have is beyond more than just meeting because of a profession, right? It's beyond that. And so, but you learn that as you go through life, you're going to change professions, you're going to change locations, you're going to change jobs, you're going to change houses and relationships. People come and people go, but who are the ones that are going to stick it out and be there for the distance? That's the difference. Who are those people that have changed you? And I love that you say stop focusing on the energy that is so negative. Don't give them your energy, right? Spend it on the ones that are changing your life and help them. And just there's so much goodness in the world, and I think we're just trained to focus on the negative. I don't know what that is, but we go right to the negative.
I know. And I feel like most people end their day with negativity rather than laying there in bed. And I know that there's a lot of people that talk about gratitude journaling and all that, but that feels very generic to me. So giving people specific actual tasks like that, like literally sit in your mind and think about your 5th grade teacher that made you feel special and your high school drama teacher that gave you the leading role because they knew you could do it or like whatever, right? There's people in our lives, they're there for a reason. And even the ones that we deem negative, they're there for a reason. So be grateful for that.
They're there to teach us something. They're there to teach you something. And so remember that I used to be, I'm still struggling with this, but I'm so much better. I don't take things as personally. I used to be, because I'm a highly sensitive being. That's just who I am. And I used to take, like, if you said one nasty thing about me, I would crumble into just the dirt and I would sit there and just wallow in my pain because it affects me so much. But I've learned that it's not always about me. It's more about them and their issues. And I know who I am now. So I know that whatever you say about me, I know who I am. You're just choosing to believe the narrative that has been given to you, whether it's from you.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Just a challenge, and then we can go. I just want to challenge you with this. If you guys do this, and I know Stephanie does it, I do too. I'm just saying, but I just heard some words come out of her mouth that remember we get to choose our own reality. So if you're recognizing the things that are happening, choose a new reality and start setting a new pace for your life. Become the person that you want to by saying to yourself out loud, I'm a strong person. I am a strong physically and emotionally and mentally. I'm very strong and capable to get through all the things that come my way, and not one of them is going to put me off. And then choosing not to be, not saying there's anything wrong with being highly sensitive by any means. I can appreciate that. And there's a reason
I know what you're
it.
saying.
But you know what I mean? Just like we do these things to ourselves, like, oh, I'm fat. Well, okay. Like, is that how you really want to just like your state? It's like the flower or the plants that we were talking about, right? Our words that we're even saying about ourselves I mean, I'm not nice to myself often, guys. So this is not, Stephanie and I have these conversations all the time about even the words that we say, right? Like, I'm literally like, oh my gosh, should I talk to my water now and be like, you're fat. I don't understand why you're getting on a Zoom today. You look
Well,
ugly. You've
would
been
you?
sick for a week. Like, but instead I'm here, right? My point is, like, be kind to yourselves with your
Words
words.
matter. Words matter. And also trip yourself in here. And I'll say this to you, like, would you ever say that to your daughter?
Yeah, no,
No.
exactly.
So why are you saying it to yourself?
Mhm.
You are valuable. You need to be the best version of yourself and the kindest person to yourself. If you would never in a million years say that to your daughter, then what gives you the right to say it to yourself?
Ooh, even then one step above that, years ago, I learned about this from we were doing a custody battle, and it was like learning about parental alienation, right? And the thing that I read in a book about parental alienation, it was like talking about the battling that goes on between the parents, right? And it was like, if you're training your child to hate the other parent, you're teaching them to hate half of themselves. So take it this way too, you guys. I think I've talked about this before, but this is important enough to say every single day. So I could say it for the rest of my life to everybody, and it's important. What you say about yourself teaches them to feel good or bad about the other half of themselves. So whether you're in a relationship with the parent or the parents are co-parenting, you need to be kind to yourself and to the other parent in front of your children at
No
least. Try
matter
to
what.
change the energy is hard to change, but we can work on that as well.
Yeah.
But if our energy is negative to ourselves and we're saying, oh, I'm fat, I'm ugly, oh, I wish I could wear that jacket. If we're being so yucky to ourselves, then it's teaching them to hate the other half of themselves, right? So either way, it's not like, oh, you have to feel guilty about what you've done in the past, because everything happens for a reason, right? They're meant to go through that with you. But like, what if you evolved into a person who just loved yourself exactly how you are, and your children got to see that evolving, right? And then you appreciate the person who co-parents with you or has created this little being with you, right? Because we affect them so much. And we can also teach them how to not allow other people to affect our energy, but that's something that comes with time. Kids go through a lot.
I don't think we'll ever stop learning how to do that. That's the journey of it, right? So, well, we're at the top of the hour.
Yep.
We did it. So thanks for being here, you guys.
Thank
We're going
you.
to be better at advertising this. We've kind of slacked on our advertising, but we're also asking you guys can help us with that too, because we're not the best at that. We just show up and just assume everybody knows. So
Well, the right people always show up.
the right people always show up. So thank you for spending this day with us. We hope you're having a beautiful week. I hope the weekend is good for you, and we'll be back next Friday. I love doing this with you.
Love you too, and I love doing this with you. I mean,
yes,
but I love you,
always.
and I love our whole group. And yeah, invite people to the group if you guys want. We appreciate anybody who wants to be in here.
Anybody.
Right? People are always part of it.
Always.
See you
Thanks,
next week.
everybody. Bye, hon.
Bye.
Have a good week. Bye.